Yeah, the 5D chess was like a really shit idea. So we're
I mean,
going to
in
be
hindsight, it's
announcing
kind
it.
of funny, but
In hindsight, it's hilarious. And also, I made a very embarrassing blunder, and I'm eternally ashamed of myself. And I don't want anybody to know. I don't want anybody to know. I still can't believe that happened. I had that game.
okay. So,
Don't give me that okay, Joe.
welcome
Put
to
it on the
episode
screen.
7 of JaDS. For real this
Duh!
time. Yep.
Hello, Internet.
Hello.
Um,
It
welcome to
is
JaDS,
uh
episode 7.
March 24th as of recording. A lot has happened.
Yes.
Yes.
Before we start,
Mm-hmm.
an announcement. Because Joe and I like loosely determined that this is going to be a thing that's going to happen now.
Okay.
On top of JaDS, we are going to start live streaming because a lot of the post-intermission activities have just been we play games. And so we're going to start live streaming, so we're not confined to like 2 rounds of Bed Wars and then we hang our heads in defeat and then we walk away because we have to finish recording the rest of the JaDS episode.
Yeah, I mean we're
So-
gonna give it a shot. We're gonna see how it goes. But if we're going to be playing video games at a scheduled time.
this is much needed for me and my sanity.
Yeah.
So we don't know yet what platforms we're going to stream onto. I was thinking probably just onto our YouTube channels. I also, what day did we agree on?
Mondays, Tuesdays,
Mondays, and yes, Mondays JaDS as in Joe and Dom stream, and Tuesdays JaDS as in Joe and Dom speak.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
no further commentary.
Yeah.
That is the plan.
Oh, actually, you know what, Dom? We could have a system. Perhaps. What if we just conclude every video by plugging the stream, which will be happening right around when right after this is uploaded?
Yeah, we could do like a thrill seeker. Actually, a lot of YouTubers just kind of do that, where the YouTuber releases a video and then streams. So
maybe the streams will correspond with the video releases. So maybe we're streaming right now. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, come check out our live stream, which we are doing right now after this, and
maybe
maybe
we'll time it so that if you watch them live, it'll happen exactly down to like the second after the video length plus like 1 or something. I don't know.
So light on my screen.
So Dom, let's get right into it. Normally we allocate a lot of time to talking about random stuff, but we can't do that this time because, well, I don't know. Jump to the second half of that if you just want that. But we have some stories to tell and some ideas and some.
Well, you have a story to tell. I have no clue what I'm talking about, so I'm going to listen.
Okay. So let's go. My Joeventure, which we'll get into in a moment. Maybe I should lead with that because it is extremely relevant.
I am very excited for you to talk about your Joeventure because
Dom has yet to hear about it. Yeah.
Yeah, this is going to be one of the few stories told on JaDS that I have not already heard ever.
Okay, so for some of the Dom stuff, I believe Dom has a new get rich quick scheme coming up.
Not talking about that. I literally, Joe, I don't know why you're so insistent on me talking about my VR chat idea. I literally don't know if it's possible. You should not be more confident than I am, Joe. My own ideas.
Okay, at some point you're gonna have to do a funny little dance because I mentioned that was gonna happen in speaking, and you can't disappoint them.
Okay. For the thumbnail.
we don't play 5D chess in today's episode of JaDS.
Yes. This is the plan.
Yeah.
We're going with the plan today.
Yes. So the last time we filmed, let this be the true first story of the podcast.
Okay, sure.
The last time we tried to film, the last time we tried to film this episode, Dom's post-intermission activity was 5D chess because he got on like a little kick about it, and this was like such a terrible idea because we then spent like at least 45 minutes playing.
Let me fucking justify myself for a moment.
Okay.
I had been practicing 5D chess to that point for like a couple of weeks, so I was like going in very JaDS mug.
Oh, JaDS mug.
Very nice.
Yeah, I got a lot of
I've been practicing for a while, so I was like going in like pretty prepared. Like, okay, this is gonna be like a quick game, either because all the games I had played against the AI were like within 10 minutes. So either Joe's going to get me early on and kick my ass, or I'm going to get Joe early on and I'm gonna kick his ass.
Yeah, I
And
had
so the
not
game
been
was
practicing 5D chess. I like
Joe
owned
had
it
played
and have
5D
played a
chess
game
once.
once.
But like I was confident enough that you would figure it out
Yeah, I mean,
anyways
like
because
I
like
know
you're
the rules
smart
of
or
chess
whatever.
and I play strategy
Yeah.
games, so like
And
I
then
have a
like you just figure
brain.
out how they time travel.
But
So
yeah, sure.
in other words, the game was shaping up to be like a 10-minute game, and I was about to win, right?
Hmm.
And all I had to do was click the correct tile to put my queen in, and it would have been checkmate. And I clicked the wrong square and submitted the move. And this blunder, which isn't even like a logical blunder, it's literally just a skill issue I misclicked, would cost the podcast 40 minutes of me desperately trying to save this checkmate that I had and missed.
Yeah, it was quite something. It was also literally the most unentertaining thing for someone to
It
watch
was
live.
extremely boring.
Like we just set anyway, so that was that.
There were other things about the episode. We decided to drop it. So this is episode
7.
7,
Um,
attempt 2.
the
I have an
only
actually
thing,
cool post-intermission activity planned.
yes, I hope so. So also the last thing I'm gonna salvage from episode 7.
Mhm.
A while back now, it's historic, but it needs to eventually get on the podcast. Poker night.
Oh, we had poker night.
Yeah, there's not too much to tell, but me, Dom, and a couple of silly goons got together and were like, let's do like poker nights, sophisticated leisure activity moments. Let everybody bring a $20 bill, and we're gonna do some stupid stuff, and we did. Um,
I made $2.
yeah, this is actually one of the first times that I like came out down. I like came out down from a poker night, which is good because first of all, my hubris needs a check every once in a while, but also um make everybody else feel good so they come back and I steal all of their money down the future. It's an investment. That's it. But really, like, Siren was in attendance, and they've never played poker before.
Yeah.
So you learn how to play poker, and then they left with like literally $1 million in cash. Well,
Yeah, actually.
yeah, like actually $1 million. There were only like
We
5
didn't,
of
we didn't
us. With
specify how many people
Yeah.
played poker, but
Yeah.
everyone bought a $20 bill, and there were actually like 500,000 people.
yeah. So
It was a big night.
yeah.
So
Yeah, I don't know. And anything else explicitly worth mentioning about poker night, or was it just some silly stuff?
the only thing that I felt like was kind of weird is that like I think this was the first Joe gathering that like not everybody was just like constantly eating food. Like I was like, oh, Joe gathering, I will bring food. So I brought like cheese and crackers and like
Mhm.
pepperoni. Like oh, set out a platter,
Mhm.
and literally like me and like a little bit of Siren and like me and Bobby and like a little bit of Siren were the only ones that ate it. Mostly me and Bobby like devoured the
We were
entire plate of
focused
cheese
on the
and
heart of the
crackers.
cards. Okay. I was sitting there in Mega Brainland trying to like invoke luck out of my like poker hat or suit jacket at different moments of the night.
Yeah.
There was no time for food. Focus on the cards. But yeah, it was fun. If I if it didn't cost money to be interesting, I'd play poker all the time because it's just fun.
Mhm.
It's like you're metagaming and like trying to psychologically read people and stuff, but except that's just like kind of all that's happening. That and like risk
Yeah.
assessment, so it's silly.
I think poker is fun if you like play with just like I don't know, like Gelt if you want to play with chocolate coins or something. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
Like I would play it more often, I guess, if I had a poker set or if I left the house. But neither of those things are real. So
Yeah,
the
yeah.
outside world is not real. I don't leave.
Right.
So I actually don't play poker very frequently.
Yeah. Well, that's
Do
poker
you want
night.
to talk about? Do it.
Yes. Okay. So
Tell me.
the Joeventure, right?
Joeventure.
In post, maybe some images will be displayed. Unfortunately, I don't go on leisure very often, like explicitly. I'm not really a vacation type. I've been on many vacations in my youth, but they were like familial, and I was just kind of like, okay, all right, family vacation. But like, I've never like really traveled independently or like for leisure before. You know what I mean? Very different.
Yeah.
So one of these things was me not really realizing I should document anything until like all the major events had already passed. So I was like trying to capture some footage and post. Uh, but anyway, so here's what happened, right? Long story short, I traveled to the University of Notre Dame during the tail end of my spring break. It was very impromptu. There were a lot of obstacles that prevented me from actually getting there, including some stuff with like maybe a hotel. And I was supposed to leave on Thursday, but nothing against United Airlines, but I had some pretty rough luck. I was flying out of LaGuardia, right? So the Joeventure doesn't even start without turmoil immediately occurring, where I'm like packed up, like, you know, relatively early in the morning. I'm like, oh, okay, I got like my single bag. There it is in the background, by the way, on the floor. I still haven't unpacked.
Nice. Very nice.
I was like, yeah, because I travel light. All right, if I didn't play video games and I wasn't like bringing a computer and stuff, I would have been traveling extremely light. But so anyway, we're about to walk out the door, and I get a text message from United that's like, your flight has been delayed an hour because of fog in Queens. I'm like, okay. Okay, I guess I'm actually don't have to rush. I guess I can go rummage through my belongings and try to find my old NDID in case I need that. What ends up happening is like every like 30 to 40 minutes on average, like 5 minutes before that, I would begin once more getting ready to walk out the door, and right then I would get another text message that said your flight has been delayed again by like an hour or half an hour. And this repeated until like I was originally supposed to leave relatively early in the day, but it was like 3 p.m. and like, you know, my dad was gonna give me the ride. My dad's like, look, we gotta go. Like I can't linger here all day. I'm like, I don't. It's very anxious. All right, I'm an anxious traveler. Just in that, like, until I walk out the door, I'll be like emergency, like, you know, recataloging everything I own, just to make sure I'm not like forgetting literally all of my toiletries or something.
Oh yeah, I'm kind of the same way.
Yeah, so I'm just like stuck there and about to leave hell for like an entire half a day. Okay. I finally get to the airport, and then like 5 minutes before I step into the airport, I get another message that it's been delayed another hour. And here's the thing, right? This is not a single flight. I have a layover, and it was a long layover because I booked these not early in advance, and I got kind of like junk times for the layovers and whatever. So like at first I was like, oh cool, I don't have to like linger in Chicago for 3 hours. Except what happened, Dom, is that my flight was eventually delayed in half an hour intervals so many times consecutively that my layover had gone from 3 hours in Chicago to -5 minutes, and I could no longer do it without time traveling.
Oh no.
So I'm now in the airport about to not get on a flight to nowhere, lest I be stuck in Chicago without the ability to time travel. So I ended up just rescheduling both flights for tomorrow for like no charge except an entire day, and whatever, it was fine. And yeah, so that was that. That was how everything started. It started by me going back home and saying my trip was very short, and then I went back to the airport the following day. Of course, I wake up the next morning, and while I'm no longer a passenger on this flight, I still had it like in my Google Calendar, which is like presumably somehow electronically linked to United or whatever, because the time on the Google Calendar updated. And I woke up to like whenever it was supposed to be, like 11 a.m. or 10 a.m. I don't remember exactly when the flight was originally supposed to be, like with stroken through. I don't know. It was It was stricken, and then it said 11 p.m. was the time that it actually departed that day. So so that flight did take off like 12 hours after it was originally scheduled. So I'm glad that I didn't continue to try and do it, because I wouldn't have had a -5 minute layover. I would have had like a -10 hour layover. Okay. So like that would have that was a big mess. Although I did get like a picture of the fog on the way out, and it was really bad. So they weren't making it up. You literally couldn't see. So of course there were more troubles in traveling, such as me getting there to my actual flight the following day, again with the same stuff.
Mhm.
And then like literally the person at the gate like continually making speaking mistakes when describing like what the flight status was. My flight uh was that flight again was delayed by I think maybe a
Mhm.
half an hour in the end. It did take off after that half hour, thank God.
Mhm.
But it was delayed, except they didn't tell us it was delayed until 15 minutes after it was already supposed to have left. So I'm just sitting there at like 1:10 p.m. in the
Mhm.
lobby waiting to board my flight, where it said on the thing, it's like on time, departing at 1 p.m., which is 10 minutes in the past, and we have not started boarding yet. And I'm just sitting there, and like, if I wasn't in a group of like mildly disgruntled people, I would have been really worried that I like somehow was like missed the flight or something.
Yeah, that's kind of how I am with, well, really doing anything on my own. I get that a lot now that I take the bus back and forth to school,
Hmm.
not like the school bus, like public transit.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it can always be a little
I,
stressful.
like did the bus come before I got here and leave without me because this
Yeah.
bus was late? Um,
Yeah. Although my first experience talking with strangers on the trip was a bunch of random people who were scared as well as me in the airport that day. But
okay,
anyway, enough about that. You want to hear about the actual trip, I'm sure, and I've already spent
yes,
too
yeah,
long talking about the airline stuff.
a little bit, yeah.
There was other bumps along the way, such as the fact that I was staying in. I stayed in one of the dorms. Don't tell anybody. I wasn't supposed to do that.
This isn't a good place to confess that.
Well, they can't. What are they gonna do? Kick me out of the school? I don't go there.
It's true. It's true. For
um,
context, I don't think you explained Joe. Joe used to go to Notre Dame and does not
yes.
go there
Yeah, I
anymore.
used to go to the University of Notre Dame in
Hmm.
Indiana. I transferred out, but after I left, I ended up like making all of my interpersonal connections after I left the school, and like
Hmm.
months after like I'm now not a student at the school anymore, I all of a sudden like started to make all these friends, which is
Yeah.
ultimately why I went, because like there were a million people that were like, "Yo, it's Joe. We want to see Joe." So I was like, you know what? I'll spend however much money and like a half of my spring break traveling in exchange for like just being automatically popular for a couple of days. That'll be fun. Um, and like I'm pay this is all like kind of a vague, nebulous hypothetical in my mind. But I'm like half of it just because like I know a couple people really well that like, come on, I have to see these human beings. But
Mhm.
like maybe I'll be like really cool and popular, and it'll be like an epic Joe moment for a couple days too. That like best case scenario, and like
Mhm.
this was not nebulous. This happens in absolution, and I'm not exaggerating. It really what like ultimate
Mhm.
ultimate Joe moments for 3 days. It was so
Good.
so I will now give you the overview.
Yeah, please.
So I was originally supposed to get there on Thursday, but I didn't. I got there on Friday at like 6 p.m. Got picked up from the airport in the rain, ran around like a silly guy, and like and then I get out behind the dorm that I'm like gonna sleep on the on a futon of,
Mm.
and I'm greeted by a couple of ambassadors from the video game club, and they're like,
Mhm.
"Oh my god, you're real!" And I'm like, "Yeah!" And because we have this running joke that I don't exist because a lot of people have never seen me in the flesh before. Um,
Right.
I'm sure, but like as the moral of the story is as crazy and like kind of you know astral projection magical experience it might have been for some of them to see me in the flesh. It was way weirder for me because I walked into a room full of strangers that knew me, Dominic. Like I can't. So Friday was Joe meetings, which
Yeah.
are now a CGC thing.
Mhm.
It used to be, while I was technically an officer of NDVGC, were the video game club thing over at ND. And I was like, you know what, guys? The last Notre Dame Joe meeting is going to happen, and it's going to be in person. That was the gimmick, right? like for the let the last Joe meeting, which are usually something that's online, be an in-person meeting, and that was gonna be the big build up, and they're usually on Fridays at like 8:30 p.m. So after I rescheduled my flight, I checked everything. I was like, yeah, I could still do Joe meeting. So I landed. Me and a couple of guys walked all the way over to like the college town area to like get some grub before thing. We step online at a pizza place. We conclude that it would take too long, and then we just walk back without eating anything. I never ate dinner that day.
Okay.
So, and then we walk back. I like sit down in the dorm. I'm like sat down for the first time, and there's like very soon there's like attendance is magical because my presence is unique and you can't miss it. So there's like 12 or 15 people, like kids all from the club, and I'm just sitting there like, after an entire day of traveling,
You've literally become a fucking world event.
Yeah, basically. I sit down, I'm like, hello everybody, welcome to Joe meeting, and I just like make eye contact with this group of people, and right away it just goes into the typical Joe shenanigans, like all the party games that I could never have done because they require in-person stuff, we were able to do. And then we did like, we messed around, we did some like exploding kittens silliness. I made everybody reintroduce themselves, half out of like formalism, and half out of because like I needed to connect some Discord profiles to human beings. And there were a lot of girls from like St. Mary's, which is like the sister school of ND there as well.
Okay.
But like crazy stuff. I won't get into any of the specifics, but that was a ton of fun. Then I like crash and go to bed. So like I travel all day, land at ND, have Joe meeting, and then like crash and die. Okay.
Clocked out.
And then clock out, and then I wake up, I sleep in, wake up really late. I'm like trying to speed run this. Wake up really late. Friday was Joe meeting. That was excellent. Saturday was not about me, because Saturday was the allocated birthday celebration day for two very important like club members, one being the president, both of whom were turning 21. Very important. You see, for those who don't know, college students consider 21 a very important age. And long story short, I spent the first half of that day sleeping in, but the first half of my day attempting. Can we get an image of the cake on screen? Attempting and succeeding to bake a Minecraft cake for the birthday people. The birthday people. It came out very fun. It was literally the majority of the day was just like, you know how thank you, Sammy, by the way, for actually doing the baking portion. You see, I was in charge of decorating the cake, and Sammy was in charge of baking the cake, because I'm creative and she actually knows how to bake. And of course, this ended up meaning that I had to make all the executive decisions, like what type of cake are we baking, and how are we gonna decorate the cake. So like we were in Super Target gathering supplies for the quest. And
Super Target?
Yes.
Super Target?
Yeah, like it's like Target, but it's like excellent.
I want to go there. What the fuck?
Yeah. And like I just like under pressure, like, okay, I got it. Are there square tins? And we find a square tin. I'm like, okay, we're going to make the Minecraft cake. Can we do that? And Sammy's like, yeah, I think we could do that. Because like I don't know the logistics of baking. So that's the cake. The majority of Saturday during the daytime is like like side quests in like a dating sim, like the filler activities.
Yeah.
That was like what that was for that afternoon. That was like the very loosely Joe attempts to bake a cake bonding sim for like 2 or 3 hours. And I'm
it took me a long time to understand the analogy you were making, because the only like dating sim I've ever played with like 5 asterisks is Doki Doki Literature Club.
Okay,
and that's all the reference I've ever seen of a dating sim.
Okay, yeah. I mean, well, that's its own conversation.
I had
But
to like imagine, like, okay, I could see that.
yeah, you got
Also,
yeah.
as an aside,
Hmm.
I like the audio listeners and I are sharing the common struggle in that we don't see the image that was presented on screen just a few
Hmm.
minutes ago of what the cake looked like, and I have no clue what it looks like right now. The only thing I have to go off of, Joe, is that you described it as it came out very fun. And I can only imagine what this means.
Well, Tom, I actually do have the power to show you the cake.
No, no, leave it a mystery.
Okay, I'll leave it a mystery. I was
I'm
gonna.
having too much fun with this mental image.
Okay.
Ah, you sent it in chat.
Oh, that wasn't
No.
me.
It actually came out very good. Very
Okay,
good
thank
code,
you,
very
thank
fun.
you.
Alright.
By the way, that was so we didn't have any method of transporting it either. Um, but so there was an empty box of bagels, and I'm describing it full of bagels. I'm describing it. The box contains bagels and is empty because it says
Mhm.
bagels free, please take. But there was nothing inside. Because we were doing it like one of the kitchen dorms, and so when we were like, oh my gosh, how are we gonna like get this over there? I was like, let's use the bagel box. And Sammy's like, what do you mean? I'm like, it's right there. It says free, please take. And she's like, I don't think it meant like the box. And it's like, I don't think they're gonna say anything. So the box it was in is actually like intended to be full of bagels, but it was actually full of cake. And this was funny because until it was to be served, that's what was kind of a surprise. I refused to refer to it as anything other than the bagels. So I was like, Sammy, where are the bagels? Or Sammy, is it like bagel time yet? And everybody like gave me weird looks. And it's also funny because until Sammy understood what the hell I was talking about, she too was like, what do you mean bagels? And there was one other person like there at the event I'm about to describe who knew of the cake and was like, Joe, is the cake like intact? Like what happened to it? I was like, and I was like, what cake? Are you talking about the bagels? And I refused to break it. I feel a little bit guilty because she was very confused, but it's okay. So, and then of course, and then I allocated some time to like actually just hanging out with my old roommate because like that's what you do. And then aside, mentioning old roommates, things are very different on ND campus now because there are no masks and you're allowed to leave your room. Remember, listening audience, I spent a semester and a half at ND on campus, on the physical campus, and I got there at the height of COVID. I was in the graduating class of 2020, COVID hit, and then I went over to Indiana and got stuck in a room for 10 months. So I had literally never even been in a dorm other than my own at this point. And let me just say, the entire trip, every single time I walked into a dorm or a building or room, I was like, wow, this is so much better than my room was. Dominic, after like a week of like just showing up places, right? And like roaming around and loitering professionally, I had the worst room in the worst dorm on campus. And I cannot believe this. I like actually the most atrocious luck ever.
Man.
And to this I say, you know what, ND, I'm looking directly at the like single administrator in like 2028 that's watching this, who happened to like work in it. You specifically, the guy who did this policy. See, at ND you're not allowed, as a freshman, you don't pick your dorm. You don't pick your dorm, you don't pick your roommate. You're randomly assigned one, and you don't see the dorm and you don't check out your roommate until you move in. Okay.
I can't verify whether or not that's just like common policy amongst colleges because I've never dormed before.
No, but normally like there are like you can maybe like find them through a Facebook group, or like there's some sort of application process, or you can like pick a preferred dorm. But no, like part of the ND specific culture is you just gotta make friends with everybody. So here's a random person and they're going to be your best friend, and here's a random dorm. I hope you like the culture and the rooms on the dorm. And you are not allowed to like bypass the system. Like it is designed to not let you choose your roommate or dorm if you tried. That's part of the culture over there. And
do they really like advertise it that way, or
Oh,
is
yeah.
it just like inferred? That's so odd.
And yeah, no, I like in theory, like I get it, like, oh, force some new experiences on some kids, culture some people, whatever. Unless you are like a completely crazy idealist who has never tangibly done anything before in their life. You're crazy, and you're crazy. Um, I, bad idea. I can't believe this. So yeah, well, 1 second.
Is that your message to the administrator? Bad idea. Also, you are crazy.
Oh yeah. So yeah, my dorm sucked. End of year nuts. But while some of their policies are questionable, they do make a really good like vacation school. I'll say that much. The campus is very nice.
Vacation school.
Yeah, like I left and I was kind of like, some things about ND kind of suck academically or living on campus. But they are very. It's a very nice visiting school. I see how their business model works now. But so yeah. So then there was the event on Saturday to celebrate the birthday. Some people call it a birthday party. Some people would refer to it as a sick college rager. I won't go into too much detail. Half because I'll leave that to its own self-contained highlight story, and half because we don't have time, and half because
That's three halves. That's three halves.
Yes, I know.
Breaking the rules of the
I know.
universe. Joe.
And the third half is because reasons, okay? But I'll say I've never been to like an actual party before, like whole ass.
Oh, you mean like a party?
Yeah, like
Okay, I also have never been to a party.
yeah, like the things that I do aren't parties. They're like really dumb and nerdy. Okay, but
we have Joe gatherings.
Yeah, we
You
have Joe
parties.
gatherings.
We are not the same.
But like full on, like we rented like an Airbnb off campus for the nights to have the activity in, and like the place was trashed and chaos was had, and
Oh my god.
it was and Patrick, hello Patrick, if you're watching this, you were one of my favorite parts.
What does that mean?
But
Okay.
yeah, so yeah, somebody said in the chat Patrick got toasted. He did. So what I will say is that I literally just like walk in, and that's like the big. I describe the experience as walking into a room full of strangers that like you, and like know and like you. That was like when that I do have a little bit of photography, but like that was the moment where I walked through the door and I was like, hello, it's me, Joe. And like literally like a party scale house full of people was like, it's Joe. And then just like chaos ensued for like literally until 2 a.m. All right.
That's extremely funny. I would literally attend a party only for that crowd reaction.
Yeah, like
whether it's like me or you, because we've had stuff like that.
Yeah.
Even in like high school,
Mhm.
like a couple of our band members in high school are particularly revered.
Yeah.
And like when Darren shows up, everybody turns around.
Yeah.
I was given kind of similar treatment. I don't think to the same extent.
Mhm.
I could be imagining things.
Yeah.
Like looking back to my memories with a rose-colored lens, I may have been less famous than I thought I was.
Mhm.
But
Yeah. So I mean, like if you
to
ever
see
know
that
if you
scandal's
know
cool.
anybody in like a friend group or like from school who is like the kind of resident mascot or whatever,
Yeah.
or if you've ever known anyone separately, if you've ever like had somebody from like far away or out of town like go out of their way to visit, and like you go out of your way to like make some time to hang out with them and like make a big deal about it because it's not that often that you can see them, like. This is one of the unique scenarios where I am both like a core mascotish element and simultaneously a very unique and far away visitor. And both of these combined to like literally just like you said, I was like literally a world event in that moment. And I walked in and I was just like full on maximum like Joe energy. My existence is humorous and I am going to employ all of the like party skills that I've been able to endure and just try and be as charismatic as possible for 80 hours. And it really happened. Like, if you ever have the opportunity to travel to visit people, I could not recommend it more, just because it's such an easy way to like have like 1 million social credit plus, just because you've gone out of your way, and it's awesome. But yeah, and you know, at some point I walked up to to Patrick, who was very impressionable in the moment and also in control of the aux, and I said, "Hey, Patrick, if you really want to cause some chaos, cue Bohemian Rhapsody onto the aux." And Patrick's like, oh my god, you're crazy. I'm gonna do it. And then he forgot like immediately afterwards. So I reminded him a couple times, and then he actually did it. And when he did, like, room scale participation, everybody was like, oh boy, here we go. And then there was the hands around the arms and like, mama.
Very good.
And yeah, I'm impressed. Like, normally, like, the in group, at least with the people I talk to, know Bohemian Rhapsody by heart. But everyone in that room knew. I was actually kind of impressed that everybody in that room, no matter their conscious state, was like knew the lyrics completely well. And yeah, you know, just like stuff like that for however long. And yep.
I want to talk about the concept of Bohemian Rhapsody in public settings on the second half of the intermission.
Sure. Well, I'll put a pin in that one.
Yeah, I put the word "the" on my whiteboard, so I'll never forget it now.
And yeah, so everything after those 2 days, I've actually tricked you. You thought I was going to go on an epic tale, but this is actually the end of the story, because the rest of it is just is kind of a like Sunday was like recovering from and trying to remember what happened on Saturday, and Monday I was just like lingering while everybody else started their classes back up. It was fun, but it wasn't story worthy a little bit, except for on Monday, I ran over to SMC to try and get a group photo with everybody, the SMC portion of the club, because like we forgot to take a group picture. And I was like, oh my God, we have to take a picture while I'm here. No one will believe that I exist. So I do that. Also, like, get dinner at SMC, like walk all the way over to ND, and so SMTC picture was taken at like high noon, and the ND picture, because I succeeded, was taken at like midnight. So that's just like really funny, because they're like, I put them together as like, oh, this is the group photo, and they're like two halves, and I'm in both because, you know, of course I am. And it's also just additionally comical that one's at like maximum daylight and the other one's taken in the dead of night. And yeah, so we got the group photo. I did the you'll if I put them up, you'll see what I'm talking about. Maybe I will. Yeah. But I did the like you know the pose, the like calendar model laying on their side pose. Yeah. I did that in both and opposing directions, just because I couldn't help myself.
Very good. Very nice.
And yeah, I just really, and then like I left in the dead of night, called an Irish departure. I like kind of mentioned that I may be leaving a couple of times throughout the adventure, but I literally like I had an early flight too. So like plane. Even the people that I was rooming with, I literally left while they were asleep. Like just in the dead of night. Like they woke up and I was gone, like a dream. Like a weird multi-day fever dream. And yeah. So that was a large adventure. I may reference some more specific parts of it in my future, but that's all you need to know. And many video games were played. I would recommend traveling. And for those of you who were there and are watching this, thank you for watching the podcast. This was actually a 4-day advertisement for the podcast.
Very good. Very nice.
Also thank you, because I mooched off of I literally like mooched off of every survival resource necessary off of like this massive group of people, of like very charitable people for those 4 days. So thank you for all of that. Thank you for babysitting and feeding and housing me. So, but yeah, so that was Joeventure. Really cool.
Congratulations.
And I don't know. Now you talk about something, because I've been talking for like 20 minutes now.
Yeah, we're running out of time. I think it's a little more than 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay.
You mentioned travel.
Yes.
this is something that was the corner point to your story in which you traveled. Um, or at least vacation. And I am in an interesting position right now because
Mhm.
my parents are going on vacation. Like, Dom, why don't you come with us? And I'm like, no, I do not want to go on vacation. I want to stay home. I do not go to the Bahamas. And
Yeah, me
they,
too. I
I
get
have this
that.
opportunity now to explain my alien and bizarre motives to my mother who is watching this live. But like, well, we actually already talked about this at dinner. So this is my mom's had this entire part of the podcast spoiled to her because I've already stated my opinions. But
Mhm.
basically, for a plethora of reasons, I do not want to go to the Bahamas, despite I think vacation being like very objectively an exciting thing. And
Is it not just
uh
because like you're a pessimistic hermit who wants to stay under
and
the
yes,
rock?
in the chat, party at Dom's place. This is exactly the plan.
We're
Well,
gonna
really,
trash the place. We're gonna
really,
turn it
two
upside
things.
down.
Yes, that is going to happen, but it's not going to be in the way that you would think. Really, A, reason A, I didn't dorm at college. Because I go to a community college where there are no dorms, and I would never pay to dorm if I had the opportunity not to, because that costs money. And so, like, I've never had the experience of like being dead on my own for like more than a day. So I'm kind
Oh,
of looking forward to like that like
existential dread of being alone? Yeah, me too.
not the existential dread of being alone, like the being thrust into the world of being on my own, except I won't be on my own because Joe will be there.
Oh boy.
Yes, that's right, Joe. You're coming to my house,
Oh
and I'm
boy.
going to drag you here by the ear. Um,
This is the part of the podcast where we just like where we just like gaslight each other into doing things for like at 20 minutes.
yes. Well,
This
so
this episode actually might be divided into thirds in the
yeah.
end.
Um, well, this is a pretty short what I'm pitching to you right now, which you already know about.
Yeah.
Um, some of you may know I have a concert this August,
Yeah.
and you see, I don't think I told last year's story of the mess that was Days Con 2021
It was a
on the
learning
podcast.
experience.
It was a
It was
fucking learning
fun. It was
experience.
fun though. I
It was
mean,
fun. I passed out on the couch to Joe's behind him,
yeah.
and um,
It's blocked by the mic.
the lesson learned is that you do
That
not
one.
procrastinate preparing for a concert, especially when this year the demands are much
How
higher than
actually
last
just
year.
don't procrastinate at all. That's like
Don't
usually never a
procrastinate is a
wise
good
choice.
motto. Joe and I do not take this advice. We procrastinate
Do
like it's
as
a
we say,
profession.
not as we do.
Yeah, something like that. So in preparation to not procrastinate,
Mm-hmm.
I am going to be hosting the band workshop, the most bandest
Bandcamp?
workshop,
Bandcamp?
band camp,
Bandcamp?
band camp at my house.
Bandcamp!
And
Bandcamp!
yeah, band camp. I've already ran this by my parents. They're like, fine, if you really don't want to come on vacation, fine. So Joe's gonna come here. King Julian from Penguins of the Madagascar is gonna jump out of the screen and come here. And
And we're
King
going
Julian
to
is our-
we're going to imbue an AI personality with the voice of a human being to be our vocalists.
yes, and this is going to be
Yes.
remarkable and nuts. The final thing on the platter, Joe, I have mentioned this to you once.
Mm-hmm.
It was an idea that came to me in a fever dream. And
As
over
many do.
the course of this, well, actually, I was awake and I wasn't feverish. This is just like the things that my brain comes up with
Okay,
when, yeah. Joe, we're gonna invent the Jad burger while I have access to, because my kitchen, I have a kitchen now. I have not used this kitchen yet. I think a couple of times I used it. We recently had our kitchen redone. So now that we have a kitchen and like I'm going to be alone in the house for 5 days.
Oh my god! Not to interrupt you, but we have a very feisty chat today.
Yeah.
My mom is saying, Dom, make sure you feed my son something more than pickles, please.
I'm going to explain this joke because it is my doing. So many of the behaviors that engulf the meetings that Joe and I have in person are shrouded in cult-like mystery. And one of these things, which I don't remember how it became a thing, is that Joe, in order for Joe to enter my house, we kind of operate on like vampire logic.
Yep.
Like in that not only does he need to be invited in to enter, but he also must pickle in and pickle out, which means he
Yes.
needs to consume an entire pickle.
Yes, I must be
in order to enter
granted
and leave.
the
Uh,
the pickle to enter and exit the house. At
Yeah,
one point
we
this
do have a
there,
designated Joe pickle jar, so that way, like, there can't be like he can't enter on one pickle, or else he'll be stuck here forever. So this is actually how I plan on trapping him here for 5 days.
Oh no!
But yeah. So Joe, we're gonna invent the Jad Burger. What's the Jad Burger? The Jad Burger is the Joe and Dom burger, and it will be characterized by an unnecessary, lengthy, like 2-day creation process, and it will become ritual in all of our Joe meetings and gatherings to create the Jad Burger. Okay.
Okay.
You understand? I have determined some of the ingredients. I know beef.
All right. All right. All right.
I can't leak the recipe. This is like the Krabby Patty secret formula.
Oh yeah, we
Joe.
can't. We can't.
We can't.
Yeah.
We'll let you know how it is, and then we'll let you know what like burger chains you can buy it from when I achieve world domination and sell
Right.
the
Yeah. Okay.
Jad Burger
And
globally,
and
actually.
what industries will be subsidized for the burger when I become president of the United States?
So that is what's going to hain
Okay.
in several months from
Okay.
now.
I know I can't bake, but I am a much better cook than a baker. Okay.
Mhm.
The chat's yelling at me. They say I don't have faith in my cooking skills. I taught Dom how to cut mushrooms once.
He did teach me how to cut mushrooms. This was a
I
very,
said, Dom, you have to do it without cutting your hand. And Dom was like, I know that. And I was like,
yeah.
do you?
My
Dom,
hands are intact.
Dom,
so
I would like to announce what me and Dom will be doing during the Oscars this year.
Oh, I forgot about this.
Okay.
I don't know what I'm doing for the Oscars this year either. Actually, this is also going to be news to me.
Yes. So, for context, this is being inspired from one of my favorite content creators, Joel Haver. All right.
Oh,
So
very
Joel
good.
Haver has a annual tradition of streaming something during the Oscars, usually that's entitled like "Watch Me Do This" instead of watching the Oscars, as like kind of a because
Oh, fun.
the internet's been mocking the Oscars for a few years now. Like I rather do anything than watch the Oscars, and like some people actually like do this. But the last year, Joel made an entire movie like impromptu and filmed entirely during the Oscars. You can actually go watch it. It's,
Oh my god.
for a film entirely written and filmed in like that like 3-hour window or whatever. It's like kind of funny. It's kind of good. Like and like all the viewers contributed to it and stuff. Like it was a bunch of people like filming on Zoom cameras and stuff. It was really funny. And this year Joel posted a video that said basically like, hey, this year we're going to do it again, but I'm announcing it in advance this time because this time, and I will be doing it as well, but I'm actually going to like kind of hold an event where we encourage as many people as possible to make and film a movie entirely during the Oscars. Okay. And part of it's going off the honor system. Okay. No pre-recording anything, no pre-writing anything. You'll have like a week to edit it,
but for movies.
Yes, it's a movie jam to mock the Oscars. Okay. All right,
that's incredible.
Hosted by Joel, and I believe he will be screening all of them or something. Me and Dom will be participating in this. Dom now is aware of this, and we will be writing and filming a short film during the Oscars. I don't know when the Oscars is, but that's what we'll be doing then. I already have like a loose plot in the back of my mind, but I can't tell it to Dom because we're not allowed to start yet. So
yeah.
It'll be great. Keep your eyes tuned for Joe and Dom, the very quickly filmed movie.
The musical.
Oh goodness.
The musical.
Oh goodness. So yeah, that's what we'll be doing during the Oscars. Do you have anything else to bring up, or should we take break? Should we take 5?
Let's take 5.
All right. Okay. Thanks, guys.
Hi guys. Hi, Editor Joe. Intermission Dom here. It's been a while since I recorded one of these. Hope you all been enjoying the episode so far. Y'all know the deal. Like, subscribe, notifications, ring the bell, Discord server, yada yada yada. But seriously though, it does actually help a lot. We're like really small right now, and our entire audience is like people we already know. So if you could spare us any points for the algorithm, it'd be a huge deal. Anyways, back to the episode.
JaDS.
Very good.
Very good.
Very good.
All right. Okay. Welcome to the second or third half of the JaDS.
Very nice.
I have a new cup. This is my this is my St. Mary's commuter mug for St. Mary's commuters. I took one because I was a commuter at St. Mary's for a moment.
Very good. I'm proud of you.
I forgot that I had this. I just found it in my travel bag. I was like, oh yeah, my souvenir that I took on a whim.
Yeah.
Yeah, you always need one of those.
Okay, Joe.
So what are we doing? What's happening? Are you doing the funny little dance?
Oh fuck! I have to do a funny little dance. I'm gonna have a funny little dance.
Oh, you better make one.
Oh shit. Okay.
Do a funny little dance.
I could do a little boogie, do a little shuffle in place.
Oh,
do
a little. Oh,
do a little,
oh,
do a little,
oh,
unplug my
oh,
headphones. Oh shit.
oh,
Do a
oh,
little, do a little
oh,
dance.
oh, oh.
I can't see. Where'd it go?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I need the applause.
Very good.
Anyways, Joe.
So what are we doing?
I'm now going to explain what you'll be doing for the post-intermission activity.
Okay.
Joe.
Yes.
I will be giving you 3 Quotev quizzes.
What is a Quotev quiz?
You don't know what a Quotev quiz is?
No.
Oh my goodness gracious. Okay. Imagine like personality tests, but instead of testing your personality, the quizzes are titled, which South Park character are you? Heart or brain? And which Dream SMP member are you really?
Okay.
You will answer these quizzes live on camera as honestly as possible.
Okay. Okay. Go. Okay, we'll start with what South Park character are we? Okay.
Stream.
I'm working on it. I gotta hit the button.
I can't believe you've never heard of a Quotev quiz. This is like my favorite 3 a.m. activity.
Okay. Now we're doing
my question for you, Joe. Have you watched South Park?
See, what I was gonna say, and let me focus on the stream here. Here we go. I guess I'll full screen this. So yeah, this one's gonna be the most interesting as I have watched little to no South Park.
So me too.
Okay. If you see 2 kids fighting, full screen. If you see 2 kids fighting on the South Park playground, what would you do? Would you call a teacher, try to stop it, encourage them and bet on the winner, or join the fight innocently? You see, the thing is, this is qualified as specifically the South Park playground. So I would probably
responses on any other
I would probably encourage them and bet on the winner.
Okay, that's good. I like that.
Yeah. Also, we only needed 1 point POV because you and I are the same person, so we're gonna have all the same answers.
This is actually true.
Yeah. So if you got suspended from school, what would you most likely be doing? Chilling at home, enjoying the TV, and eat cheesy poofs? No, by the way, nobody in Indiana knows what cheese doodles are.
Oh wow, that's nuts.
They're crazy. They're like, so what? No. It's like an off-brand cheese. I'm like, no, that's everything else is off-brand cheese doodles. You guys are crazy. But yeah, eat cheesy poofs. Play video games and wait for something interesting to happen. Like, it would be so disingenuous for me to choose anything else. This is just what I do. This is my default setting. You find I don't know how this image is relevant.
Like the picture.
Yeah. If you find a lost puppy, what would you do with it? I don't know, Dom. You find a puppy. What do you do with it? I feel like making a profit out of a puppy is like a pretty obscure tactic, and not one that I would employ. Well,
if you had to make a profit out of someone's lost puppy, how would you do it?
Since I don't know, that's not going to be my answer. So, in fact, I'm a dog owner. I have to search for the puppy's owners.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go good alignment, lawful good here.
Okay, very nice.
There's a new kid in school. How do you approach him or her? Make their first days as hard as possible.
I don't think
interesting.
I can't. I feel like I'm trying to remember like how
First
I
of all,
handled this stuff when I was back.
I mean,
in
like
school.
this is pretty much everybody's default, right? This or this, which can kind of be the same thing. But
if this analogy was replaced from school to the JaDS server, my answer is number one, 100%.
Let's go with number one. I feel like it's
that's
fitting.
exciting.
Yeah. Because it wouldn't be malicious, but I too would attempt to like immediately indoctrinate whoever I ran into, and like if there was a new kid in band, we'd like all surround them in a big like circle and like T-pose them in a corner in high school until they cried. You know what I mean? So what would you do if you got caught smoking? I'm assuming the verb smoking here is intentionally left nebulous.
You're on fire.
What if you were on fire? Figure out a scenario to get myself out of trouble. Accept my fate. Anything but that, right?
Okay.
I honestly don't care. That would depend on what you were smoking. And does not really matter. I will get into trouble anyways. I feel like you and I are pretty improvisational human beings, Dominic. We would like use a point of inspiration in that situation, and just like, roll an absurd deception probably. One and like try and like summon, like really explain our way out of that one. So yeah, that one. Ooh, what would you do if a girl or a guy you liked? What would you do? If they existed, what would you do? I don't know. This has never happened to me. I have no idea. This is a very limiting set of options. I'll say that. Stalk them, try to impress them / be as sweet as possible, which are not the same for me. Okay. First of all, get nervous and end up playing hard to get, and dream about them. Can you really dream about people like intentionally? Or do some people just know themselves that well where they'd pick that option?
If someone has such like a mastery over like dreaming, then like sure, do your thing. But bro, I can barely fall asleep.
Okay, we go with this. We go with this, right? Just purely because of the first half.
Yeah. I say at the very least, like that's how I handle like trying to befriend anyone.
Yes,
like be a walking phenomenon.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So for that reason, like when I walked over to ND and just like was a walking phenomenon, as you worded it for however long, that's my goal. Yeah. Homeless guy, give him the spare change, ma'am. Ignore them, hurt and insult them. Oh my gosh. And be nice and walk on. So be kind, like don't ignore them. That's a different option, but don't give them money. That's also a different option. So specifically be kind to them, but don't give them any money, but don't ignore them, and then walk away.
You walk up and have a conversation and leave.
Hey man, how you doing?
Yeah.
Not good? Yeah, me neither.
Things getting rough.
You want
to talk about it?
I don't know. How would you, like if
I would give if I had money. Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I wouldn't be even in the are we talking about like I know the homeless guy, or like I pass a homeless guy in the street?
You walk past like a homeless person.
I kind of like this option because I don't have to give any money, but it's still like that's kind of like the more powerful option. Don't give them change, befriend him. Like who does that? Hey man, what you do?
Okay, it depends, because like at the very least, I've heard rumors about this, which may just not be true, but apparently, like, there are some homeless people in, like, my local area who aren't actually homeless. They're, like, pretending for money for drugs.
Well, yeah, that's a lot of...
That is constantly something that is in the back of my mind. So, like, I guess for option number 4, like, if I could, like, talk to someone and, like, suss out whether they're actually homeless or not, then I would, like, give them money.
Yeah, I mean, that's, like, the ultimate...
For drug money.
That's, like, the ultimate good Samaritan option. Like, instead of giving them drug money, be like, hey, would you like to eat dinner at my house? Come on, get in the car. Meet my kids. Okay, let's go with that option.
I would say that one, sure.
Which describes you best? always do the right thing, do whatever makes me happy, just try to fit in, or chilled, I don't really care.
None of these work.
Yeah. Yeah, chilled, I don't
Um,
really. I was gonna be like, so I wait, what's the philosophical term that's escaping me when you don't care about?
Stoicism?
No, like further down the line, like life is nihilism. Like, what is
Nihilism.
this? The nihilistic option? Like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, I don't know. Or maybe it's just like the stoner option where you're high all the
Yeah.
time and like
Neutral
um
good.
yeah. Well,
Wait,
like
chaotic neutral.
the first option
Lawful
is like
neutral.
the it says always try to do the right thing. At the
Okay.
very least it like factors in like human error in that people are not perfect.
Yep.
So I like that one. Um but I feel like at the same time this is the most like to be a walking good Samaritan option of the four. And
This is by far the most BuzzFeed multiple choice question we've gotten to yet, where it's
yeah.
literally just, are you a good person? Are you a hedonist? Are you like,
Yeah.
are you a conformist, or are you a nihilist? And those are your only options. So I don't know. Let's go with that option. We're
Okay.
good.
Mhm.
Also, we these ones we probably like would have
Yeah.
more to disagree with. All right, which
Mhm.
South Park character are we?
Congratulations.
You can
You are
actually you
Cartman.
can be very mean and insensitive, but you have one of the smartest and most cunning minds out there. Very good. Nobody really gets to mess with you, whether they're your friends or not. Nobody gets away with it. Karma usually gets you, but that does not stop you. You have a twisted sense of humor. Awesome.
Quotev
That's
hereby
what it
diagnoses you
says.
as racist. Congratulations, Joe.
What do you feel about being Cartman? One word.
Oh shit. Yeah, sure, we'll go with that. Um how do you feel, Joe?
It ended with awesome, so I'm gonna say awesome.
Okay,
This
okay,
is
awesome is a
pretty.
good
This is
word.
pretty awesome and
All right.
epic. Make your
Let's
word.
do a heart or brain next.
Okay. Well, let's zoom through this one. I won't read all the questions aloud here because
We might not have time for the third one.
yeah. Is this in the JaDS chat? Oh yes, it is.
Yeah.
Okay,
Go
heart or
in the,
brain?
heart or brain, Joe? What do you think? Heart or brain? There are 10 questions, but like answer the first
Does
one.
it?
What do
I
you
don't know if
think?
it says too much about me, but brain.
Okay, good.
Street or book? Book. Right?
Okay.
I mean, you don't leave your house, so it can't be street. I've never
Yeah.
stood on a street.
I don't think I'm
Hogwarts.
book smart either. Maybe I'm just an idiot.
Okay, maybe I'm cynical and also
Two forms of
evil,
smart.
but Slytherin?
I don't know Harry Potter.
You're a
So-
you're a Slytherin. You're a Slytherin.
Okay, sure. I'm a Slytherin. Are you mentally or physically strong? You can choose multiple answers because you might be tied.
Okay, you'd probably be mentally.
Yeah.
I'm a little closer to both than you, but
Yeah.
collectively we're mentally. I won't.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we're not
Wait a minute,
unhealthy.
you can
I
choose
guess.
mentally and both and none.
All right.
Okay. You're ready inside or outside? Do
Inside.
yeah. Do you like school?
No. No. How kind? Oh my God. How
honest, Joe.
kind
Are
are
you
you?
10? How kind are you, Joe?
I don't know.
On a
I mean,
scale
I'm a
from
very,
1 to
I'm a
10, you
very
said divide into 3
ethical.
different
I'm a
ranges.
very ethical person, but
Okay.
I'm also like, admittedly, kind of mean too sometimes.
Okay.
So I don't
Just
know.
put yourself in the low 7 to 9, but 7 to 9 otherwise, if you want to be generous.
Where would you go if you had to pick a number 1 through 10?
If I had to assume that, number 1 is like Adolf Hitler and number 10 is, I don't know, Jesus Christ.
Oh, okay. This is an extreme scale. We're probably
It's
both
gonna be an
5s.
extreme
If
scale
you're
where
going
I'm
that way.
probably like a 6. I gotta be honest. Like I don't
No, I'm like,
see myself as being a walking saint.
I see myself as like on one hand, I lean a little bit too much towards like extremely judgmental and unforgiving. But like
Yeah, I mean, we can both
also I
definitely be
like
argumentative.
I like will really go out of my way not to like break the humor of an atmosphere. You know what I mean? Like
Right,
I
right.
rather go out of my way to like do things for other people than like, you know.
Mhm.
I mean, maybe half of that's just because I don't want to break the joke, but
Yeah.
let's generously say 4 to 6. All right.
Yeah, yeah. We are average. people.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Sometimes we like
This
to
is like,
brag. If there was a
there's no
yes, we would
option
say
for
yes.
yes.
If we would say
Yeah.
yes, we'd say yes.
I would say sometimes. I like to
Uh,
exercise.
we're probably like a no, but we do it anyway, right?
Depends what you interpret as exercise. I mean, I play the drums every day, which I consider exercise because it makes me sweat.
And like there are certain periods in
Definitely
my life in which
exhausting.
the answer is yeah. Not right now, but so
Like, I'm
we'll
definitely not a gym guy, but like if there
yeah,
was a
yeah,
maybe, like that
I
may
mean,
be
I'm
like
not, yeah, I don't
exercise.
like
Definitely.
gym dude broing, but like, you know, I dabble.
Okay. Bye.
Oh no!
You have to pick one. You have to pick one.
This is a really good quiz.
Yeah, do number 4.
Okay.
Okay. Your brain.
Brain!
Congratulations, Joe.
Would the whole test just been based off the first option? Because if so, I really like this test.
I don't think so.
I like forgot
think
what it
it's
was
like
about while I was
pointers.
taking it, and I was like, I don't know what I
Wait, scroll
expected.
down. Scroll down.
Oh,
Almost all your points went into the brain category. Congratulations, you're part of the majority.
okay.
Oh,
Alright.
we should take like a Quotev IQ test. You know, one of those that's like gonna give you a genius IQ right out of the box for answering a couple of puzzles.
Yeah.
What's your Quotev IQ?
We should
Joe?
attempt. If we did that, we should like seek to try and get the lowest score possible.
Oh, well, that would be kind of easy though, because it's like
You'd
only
think.
one of the questions are gonna be right.
You'd
Actually,
think.
that's true.
But like they're designed. What about the ones that are like fake and try to make you feel good about yourself? And do you think we can
That would
intentionally get a poor
actually
score?
be-
All right, let's just run through this quick because it's funny.
Okay.
Which Dream SMP character are
SMP
you
member?
really?
Okay.
It's been rough.
I guess same thing as the.
I think I'm doing
the
better.
South Park thing. I
Pick an
have
answer.
like limited knowledge of Dream SMP.
Yeah, I know nothing about it. I'll be honest.
Okay.
It was.
Only know about
I think I know
Xenoblade and
some of the
Dream.
characters maybe. Was it
What
rough at
is my
first?
experience with online school? I would say rough. Actually, rough at first, but I'm doing better now because I'm not in.
But like this is also true. I'm gonna pick this one actually, because I was doing awful.
Sure. Do that.
And now I'm
Do
feeling
that.
confident. Yeah.
Yeah.
You.
The bow and arrow.
we kind of. We didn't even read the other questions.
What would you consider? Yeah, sure.
Absolutely. I tempted to go the second
I
option.
hope.
How
would you describe yourself? Pick all of them. Pick all of them. All of them. Pick all of them.
Okay.
I'm all traits. I am the.
Okay, yeah, I agree. Small coffee shop, large thunderstorm. It's late at night. Your friends had lawful after the joke you just told. Okay.
Do you actually enjoy? No.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I don't know. What does that mean?
Actually, we're content creators. This will age poorly when we're like making.
We follow trends,
Minecraft.
but we don't enjoy them.
Yeah.
This is a stupid question. It depends on the trend.
Yeah.
How would you spend your day-to-day life? Focusing on something. School more get in the way of that. Yeah. Both of these. All three. All 4 of these, actually, I would say.
Okay, well, this isn't multiple choice. The next 3 questions, there will be 2 answers.
Talking.
Choose the one that... Okay. Talking.
Stars.
I saw clouds.
Black.
Clearly we're different people now. Okay.
I'll let you answer one. Mountains.
Wait, what is it? Oh, right.
How would you describe your room?
My room. Yeah, sure. Do all of them. No, not boring. My room is incredibly exciting.
Too late. What do you use while texting? Simple emoticons. Yeah.
I don't text people. I use
Say
Discord
DMs.
and
DMs works.
DMs. Okay.
Multiple. I've been on a Lamau kick, so
I use all lowercase, but not because it looks cooler. Actually, wait. No, I don't use all lowercase. I have like. I use LMAO. Yeah.
I do both of these, and
There's no option in this entire thing to describe my grammars.
there's
really.
also no option to explain the like extremely complicated lingo of Discord, where we literally upload custom PNGs to use as custom emojis to communicate custom emotions. So
Yeah.
we'll go with that.
Sure.
Would you consider yourself good under? I would consider
I would
myself
say yes.
legendary under pressure.
I would consider myself absolutely mediocre unless there is pressure.
Yeah. You gain a large audience overnight.
Oh, good. This will age incredibly well. We will follow the one choice that we make to the T here.
Do we panic or do we get excited? I think both, really.
That is so not like
panic.
Sure.
Okay. Under largest, how do you calm yourself down? None of these are appropriate. I find it a distracting activity, actually.
I guess that's closest. What are some things? Oh, this is long. If you could change your about myself, I could.
Would you change your anxious nature?
I would change my social anxiety.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And probably my normal anxiety as well.
I wouldn't change your anxious nature.
Oh, okay. I'm going to deliberate on that comment for 3 years now, Joe.
Yes, good. No.
Okay.
I acknowledge all of these things. I probably wouldn't change any of them.
I wouldn't change them. Given the opportunity to be less
honestly,
socially anxious.
We need an answer, so we're gonna go with this one. But I wouldn't change a single thing about either of us. That's how.
Very good, Joe.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you think I'm walking perfection.
I do.
How do you believe drew yourself into the dream SMP? I mean,
we aren't drawn into it.
If anything, it's the content creators because I like Technoblade. I've been following him since like the dawn of time.
Okay, yeah, sure. Would you say validation is a large motivator for you?
Yes.
Okay, we go on. What is your largest fear?
I wrote an essay on that subject last night.
Failure, loneliness, embarrassment, or commitment? Holy shit.
Oh, geez. For me, probably embarrassment. I feel like failure and embarrassment are the same for me because I make a lot of my things public.
Well, would you rather put everything you have in something only for it to fail, or be ridiculed for something you couldn't control? Embarrassment's like you poop your pants. Okay.
Okay.
Failure's like you lose $1 billion in the stock market and then your pants gets pooped.
Oh my god, that's terrible. That's awful. I'm
actually, honestly, for me, probably loneliness. Maybe.
No, because for me, like if I had to actually put in one word what my biggest fear is in like the abstract sense, like disappointing people. That's 2 words. But that is like
I feel like
very much a combination of
I feel like commitment is something that scares both of us, as we are very diversely interested people. Because this is worded as
that's a very subconscious thing.
But like this one says, the idea of sticking into one thing till death terrifies me, and I feel like we'd both agree with that.
I feel like I don't know about terrifies me, but like, am I easily distracted? Yeah.
Well, what do we pick?
I'm picking failure for myself.
I'll pick loneliness for myself, okay, and then we're gonna pick embarrassment for JaDS.
Okay, sure.
All right.
It'd be terrible if the JaDS podcast pooped itself on.
Yeah, it would.
Being asked how that would be logically possible. If you could, would you join the Dream SMP?
I mean, we're trying to become content creators, so probably be hesitant, but
that would be really good clout, actually.
Yeah, that'd just be like an economically correct decision.
Yeah, I
so
agree.
We can't really say no. Yeah, we'll cope with it.
Oh my
god,
we're
Wilbur Soot.
Oh my god, incredible.
Yo, incredible. We're quippy.
This is good because Wilbur Soot is like one of the few people on the Dream SMP who I'm actually like familiar with.
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
Very good.
This is actually
Oh my
funny because
God.
like this
Thought about
actually
this.
felt like earnestly created as a survey or as
Yeah.
a questionnaire or whatever. All right,
Yeah, that
well,
was actually a good questionnaire. I
oh
just find it funny that
yeah,
we're talking about Dream SMP and we don't know anything about Dream SMP.
yeah,
Other than like I follow the animatics occasionally.
yeah. Well,
Very good. Congratulations, Joe. I now know everything about you. You are Wilbur Soot, you are Brain, and you are Eric Cartman.
no, we are Eric Hartman, and we are Brain, and we are Wilburson.
I'm not Eric Cartman. I refuse to believe that.
And I will now invert myself.
Oh,
Ooh, ooh,
very
ooh,
nice.
yeah, yeah.
That concludes today's post-intermission activity. That was quite long, actually.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's just throw a little random conversation in there for
Okay,
just to close us out for the day.
conversation. Okay, very good. Do you wanna get a the you know the topic generator?
Yeah,
Sure. Okay.
sure.
We'll do random topic
Oop,
generator.
I'm blue.
Oh, wait a minute. I actually have one thing that I want to talk about.
Sure.
Actually, you know what?
You can
This
save
is
it for
really
next
more
week.
of a this is really more of a start of intermission conversation. So I'm going to briefly put in my DMs keyboard.
Do you want family,
wizard.
essays, couples, business, or anyone?
Let's do anyone. That's what I've been doing.
Yeah. By the way, if you're watching us, if you are watching us live, this is the part where you can recommend us that if you want us to talk about something, you may as well. And we'll get to it. All right, I got a randomly generated question for you, Dominic.
Ask it.
No.
I dare you.
No.
I dare you, Joe. I double dog dare
you. You double dog dare me.
Double dog dare you to ask me the question.
Dominic, what type of kid were you?
Fuck. That's a loaded question.
There is a qualifier on this, but I feel like it'd be better if you just interpret that question yourself. What type of kid were you, Dom? Tell me.
Okay. I was a fucking brat when I was younger. Can provide a lot of. I am so sorry to my parents who had to parent me, but like, here's an example. Like,
oh, we have an example.
I have examples. I didn't really interact with people a lot as a kid. I was actually thinking about this the other day. Like if I were to examine like the origins of how I kind of became like a huge shut-in, like this is like a fever dream, but like I would go outside. There would be this great expanse that is the kindergarten playground at my elementary school. And there would be all these like other humans there that are about my size and stature, because that's what kids are. And go up to them, interrupt their activities, say, "Who wants to play Dog World?" And everyone's like, "Dom, what's Dog World? Why do you keep asking us if you want to play Dog World every fucking day?" And I'm like, "Nobody wants to play Dog World with me." And then I would like not play Dog World with anybody, and they would go off and play tag. I didn't like playing tag. But Dog World, in my mind, I think was just tag, but we were dogs. Don't ask any questions.
Okay.
It had like otherworldly significance to me.
All right.
We were going to play Dog World,
All right.
and so I resented the entire world for this. And the other thing is like
evil backstory arc.
Yeah, evil backstory arc. I also ate a lot of steak, so this is something interesting. I was definitely a spoiled kid. Like there was one day that I had like a conscious awakening. I'm like, man, I suck. I'm going to like do the opposite. And now I'm like, I actively try and make myself not a burden for my parents. But I used to be so the other way around. This is like actually an artifact of my childhood that is stuck with me. And I'm like coping with and overcoming through like countless not countless, you can't count introspection, but like I used to like really mad at like people taking time away from me. Like if my parents took me out to dinner, pulling me away from my Legos and Minecraft, I'd be like, "You owe me like 1 hour and 37 minutes that you took away from Minecraft. My bedtime gets extended now."
Oh my gosh.
And like I think this is like kind of stuck with me. This is like, oh man, I like had a really short day today. I'm going to like stay up late. I think that's like kind of subconsciously still a part of my personality. I'm trying to get rid of it. The other thing, like just in regards to being spoiled, this is like kind of funny. I used to be really picky, really picky eater as well. And once we went to the doctor, and the doctor was like, "Holy shit, your son is really low on iron." I'm like, "Oh shit." I'm like very low on iron. So my parents like, "Okay, feed him steak." And I was a very picky eater, so like, "Okay, we'll get you like really good steak." And they gave me skirt steak, and then one day they gave me like filet mignon.
Oh
I was like,
yeah.
ooh, filet mignon. This is good. This is now the only food I'm going to eat, and I'm going to threaten starvation. And there was a very long time where my parents had to like buy, like my parents would have ribeye
Oh
and I would have
man.
filet mignon.
I
And
can't.
I was
Of
like,
course. Of course you will. I could see it. I could see
yeah,
it.
I don't like that. I thought I
Oh my
passed
gosh.
this.
You brat. I can't
I,
believe that.
I know. I was like such a shitter.
Uh
And thankfully I'm past this now. I had like a whole arc where I was like, man, I need to like learn how to eat chicken
you
and
know,
stuff. That,
I
like things that
really
aren't filet mignon.
it's really an
And
insight into like you and I as people because like I'm comparing my there are some things that are similar and some things that are different between our answers to that question that like explains a lot.
yeah.
So, first of all, I would describe myself, especially when I was really young, as like literally a perfect little baby. Okay.
Oh, that's good. I'm
I
so
was
glad.
really well behaved. I like prided myself. I was like a little mama's boy. I had like separation anxiety when I was like an infant, and I
Yeah, that's
literally
normal.
never ever broke any rules ever, and I did everything good.
I don't remember that far back.
Um, okay. Um, I too was a bit like antisocial in like you know elementary school a little bit. Like I was like at one point in my life I realized that it kind of coincided when I realized I needed glasses, and
Mhm.
I didn't believe that I needed glasses. I was like, yeah, I could see fine because I didn't know that I needed glasses, and then my parents were like, no, you need glasses. So I until the moment that like a guy in a white coat was like, "Hey, look through this funky lens." And I looked through it and I could see like a million miles and I was like, "Whoa, you guys can just like see that?"
Yeah.
So I was definitely despite the fact that I was well behaved, I was simultaneously a very like stubborn little kid. Um
So was I. This is I forgot to
And my
mention.
parents were like very understanding and patient with me, like letting me question things. They'd always answer my questions, and they'd always let me
Mm.
like debate things or whatever. I've mentioned the like line of reasoning my 10-year-old self used to like get ice cream on waffles for dinner before on this podcast. But like
Yeah.
I'd constantly be doing stuff like that. I'd be like trying to like, you know, debate about stuff and question things half the time I was not qualified to be talking about. And I'm so
You were
glad my
just like a baby Einstein walking skeptic.
yeah, yeah, I
Okay.
was. And I'm really thankful that my parents
That
humored me
fits.
because I never grew out of it and I'm really thankful for that.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
though yeah, the one thing you said the one thing for me too is since I was like I often like I was like trying to like debate and like reason things all the
Mhm.
time with my parents,
Yeah.
and like I'd often find myself in situations where I too really overvalued my own time. Like
Mhm.
when I was this is all what I'll finish my question off with. When I was little, because I was smart and I was like a little peanut who like didn't like not playing video games. Um, my math homework would take me like 5 minutes, right? I'd spend five because this is elementary school. Math homework takes you 5 minutes. I did my worksheet. That's my homework for the day. Um, and like on God, my dad will
Mhm.
tell you about it. I'd spend 5 minutes doing my homework. I'd like two really, and then
Yeah.
I would complain about it for 15 minutes, 15 to 30 minutes. I would complain about the homework that I had to do, and then I'd go play video games. I'd like spend 50 minutes like I can't believe I had to do this stupid homework. You know, like I already know all this because
It's
like
the schedule Joe rant every day.
yeah, like, cause also like at that point, I probably wasn't exaggerating. I probably was like too smart to do the like stupid, you know, like
Yeah.
addition and subtraction practice and the spelling or whatever.
Mhm.
But I would whine and whine. I hated homework. I hated doing homework,
Me
and I was
too. I
like,
also was not a
and I
homework
like
kid.
really like I just I literally needed so much time, you know, to like play video games and stuff. I was like, every
Mhm.
single time, I really hated people other than me wasting my time, and I'm pretty sure this has stuck with me into my adult life.
I think you and I are kind of the same
Where
in that
like we're like,
regard.
and honestly, now that I'm saying it, I mean, I try to be a little bit more self-aware, but honestly,
Mhm.
I will definitely burn 5 to 10 hours of my time on complete and utter nonsense, but I will also complain for an hour off of somebody else wasting 10 minutes of my time. So I haven't really changed that much.
Yeah, I became conscious of this like a while ago. Like, damn, I really think like the whole ass universe owes me Minecraft time.
Yeah, that
And
was me
and
when I
like
was really little.
that's like I would like literally like mom, you owe me. You took me out to dinner, therefore taking me away from my computer. You owe me time on
Yeah,
Minecraft.
when I
Like that's
first
I
like
really
actually
accepted.
like had a a DSi or PS2, my own first laptop or whatever, I was like, I deserved time on those machines. I needed them, and that was the beginning of the end for me, I guess. But yeah,
Yeah,
I was a little know-it-all too. I literally thought I knew everything, and
yeah. I
I didn't
also.
say that. Okay, I never announced to the
Mhm,
world that I knew everything, but I was like, these days I'm like kind of confident that I'm smart, like relatively. I'd call myself a
mhm.
smart guy. And I realized that,
Yeah,
that there's
yeah.
a certain level of arrogance that I need to say that. But like, I don't know.
Mhm,
I do. I'm kind of an academic sometimes, I guess. I don't know. But like when I was very small and very little, I was like actually, you know, I was definitely a super genius, I would have said.
probably. Well, okay, this is actually an interesting thing because I was one of those gifted kids,
Yes,
right?
yes, that's the gifted
I
kid
think
thing. I
we
was one of
both
those. All
were.
right, I don't think I would have called
Um,
myself a super genius, but I was a gifted kid.
I probably wouldn't have. Well, maybe I would have called myself a super genius. I definitely had an
If
ego.
you told me I
Um,
was a super genius when I was 5, I would have believed you. Okay, that's
that's kind of I think the same mindset I was in.
yeah.
Like I was prepared for the world to believe that I was a super genius and that I was Jimmy Neutron in the flesh, literally leaped out of the screen. Um, but something I found interesting because we talked about this in I think it was my adolescent psych class. We
Mhm.
talked about gifted kids and
Yeah.
uh
Huge
there
like
was like a
introspection thing later in life, the whole gift. I mean, there are a lot of
yeah
videos about the gifted thing, kid thing, and like whether it's good or bad and how it's handled and
yeah
stuff like
yeah
that.
but it was interesting because we mentioned it and like there was a survey like if any of you want to raise your hand if you like were in a gifted and talented program in like fourth or fifth grade and I was like yeah I was only in fifth grade. It was actually I'm going to talk about this in a second but
Okay.
he's like oh did you ever have your IQ test? I'm like no. It's like really? You're like yeah, like you're supposed to have your IQ test. I'm like oh, so like I guess I was like an illegitimate gifted kid.
Well,
So
I never had my IQ tested. The thing that got
me
me into like
neither.
Sequest in the 5th grade was one because I asked, because apparently I had to ask, which is really like very
Yeah,
short
yeah.
Joe story. I
Okay.
in 4th grade you start getting into Sequest, which is like a gifted kid thing in the fifth
Mhm.
in the elementary school,
You might tell
and
my story that I'm about to tell.
yeah, okay. Well, what happened was I got really good grades, and I was like obsessed with grades from a very young age. And I got like
Okay.
really good grades. And there's some of my friends that would like get to not go to school on Friday and go to Sequest instead. And they all said they liked it.
Right.
And at one point, and I didn't think too much of it. But then like at one point, I compared like my grade average to one of my friends, and it was higher. And they went to Sequest, and I didn't. And then all of a sudden, I was
Mhm.
like, I had like an awakening. I was like, why am I in Sequest? Why I
We literally had the same exact experience.
and oh my god. And then in the
Remember
5th grade, at one point, like I think I said this to my mom or something, and my mom must have talked to the teacher. And then like the next
this
day,
is
the teacher was like,
exactly what
"Oh,"
happened.
and then the next day, the teacher was like, "Oh, do you want to be in Sequest?" And I was like, "Yes." And they were like, "Oh yeah, sure, yeah, well, you can go next week." I was like, "What? Is that easy?" And nobody told me I could go to Sequest.
So this is what we learned apparently. My mom's in the chat so she can verify whether this was true or not.
Oh my god,
Basically,
I didn't
in
know you
fourth
also went
grade,
through this.
then in fifth grade, my mom's like, she went to the sequence. She was like, come on. Like what? Like my son has like straight A's and everything. Why isn't he in Sequest? And apparently, they just picked from a hat of like the smartest students in the
Yeah, it
class.
must be that. It must be
So
that.
like you could have been the #1 student and like your name didn't get picked from the
Frankly,
hat
Dominic,
because there
I'm
were
pretty sure
limited
that's like, I'm
seats.
pretty sure like in elementary school, that was probably me.
Yeah. So like because they had limited seats, which first of all, there should not be an overwhelming amount of kids in a gifted and talented program. I think statistically that's like not likely to happen where you're gonna have that many like
Oh my
Jimmy
god,
Neutron
our moms are like
mentions
having a
in
mom
area.
moment in the chat
Yeah.
because they both were
Uh,
so annoyed by this. Oh my goodness, that's so funny.
and
I actually
my
did
mom's
really
like, dude,
enjoy
what
my
the
time in Sequest for like that
dude,
very brief
Sequest was
half a
like
year, because it's
Sequest
literally
was a
just
really
like I
important
don't have to go to
milestone.
I don't have to go to school. I can just like go to Cool Kids Club, which where I
Mhm.
mean we were supposedly doing very enriching and gifted kid activities like learning new languages and reading slightly harder books and learning
Mhm.
a very basic programming with Lego Technic robots. But excuse me,
Yeah.
really, it was just we were smart enough to like micromanage and procrastinate. So we really just like bummed around for the whole time and messed around and
Yeah.
occasionally did work. And that was
So
the gifted student program. And this now means so much that I'm saying this probably has a lot of
yeah.
implications.
Um, yeah, so this is interesting because Joe and I didn't go to the same gifted and talented program, but we went to the
Oh
same
yeah,
gifted and talented
like
program.
and
We were
now in
in
college
different
I'm probably in a
elementary
good place.
schools.
But when I was in elementary school, I was definitely like up my own ass, never being challenged, whining about my baby math homework and
Oh
stuff.
yeah, no, I was the same way.
I
Like
lit.
I was
Oh
the
my
one
goodness.
kid who
I
was
thought
like,
like if you were to ask third grade me what like
mhm.
their goal was, my goal was to get grades that were so good that someone would notice and I'd like skip a grade. That was like my life goal. And
I
I
probably
eventually
could
came
have
to the
done that. I
and
never did.
see, this is an important because now if something like that ever happened to me, I would know better that you don't just perform now and wait for things to happen to you. You have to go out and get them. If either me or my parents ever like talked to
Right.
a teacher and thought that might be good for me, it could happen really easily. I just never
Mhm.
knew. I thought because I was a kid and I didn't know how the world works. I just assumed like if you got good grades, they just did it, and it was just a thing that
Yeah,
happened. I
yeah.
was always wondering like why I wasn't good enough, and now this it's kind of like turning into a bit of a sad story now.
Yeah,
But
in hindsight, I probably could have skipped a grade.
yeah.
I remember, like, I was like, "You're not gonna understand this reference, but you should because you're attending Days Con as a panelist." I
Mhm.
was Shintaro Kisaragi when I was an elementary schooler. I
Okay.
did not give a rat's ass about grades and scored hundreds on almost every test.
Well,
I
me
was so
too.
fucking bored.
Well, honestly, I think it was
And
just okay. Yeah. Oh, so here's the thing too, right? And
mhm,
I don't care that this is we're only doing one conversation because this is a good conversation.
this is a good
I
one.
I lots of about the educational system, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I was probably actually like really under. Yeah, I mean, I could have maybe skipped or
Mhm,
whatever, but like specifically, I just the only thing I remember being a kid is
mhm.
that I just wanted to grow up. I hated being a kid.
I
Okay.
also felt the same way.
And
We're the same person.
and one thing that kind of coincided with that is mostly just because I was bored out of my mind a lot, and I wish I had the
Mhm.
I didn't have the independence yet to make executive decisions to determine what I did. But I was really like in high school, you know, some boring classes, whatever. But like in elementary school and maybe middle school, I was like dead ass, like teacher defying, bored out of my mind, pay attention for half a second and do all of the work in 5 minutes student.
Yeah.
Okay. In high school, this was only spiritually true. Okay. In like it only felt that way to me. But like in elementary school, that was
Escape
literally
those
what happened.
habits.
Like the
Yeah.
spend 2 minutes on homework and complain for half an hour thing, that applied in class as well. And later in my life, my parents mentioned to me that apparently at one point, like one of my elementary school teachers or something during parent teacher conferences, whatever, like seriously recommended that I be medicated because I just like was never paying attention or something. And it was
Mm.
just because I was fucking bored. Like
Yeah. Yeah,
and
well,
this is
I
like such a like
remember
I remember when they told me about that, like it was a long time ago now, but when
Mhm.
they first told me about that, I was like I was like actually really I was like terrified. I was like they what?
They're gonna put you on pay attention to my boring ass classwork pills? Like, what the hell?
Yeah. And that, you know what? In hindsight, you know, that was like, there
Mhm.
are some articles that came out a few years after that time, like in the like the 2010s and stuff, you saw some articles about like,
Mm.
over medication and over prescription for children that are like they don't have ADHD. Like that was in the big
Mhm.
overdiagnosis boom. So it kind of makes
Oh,
sense. You
yeah.
remember that? But like, yeah,
Mhm.
I could have been one of those kids who like
Oh,
just
shit.
thought school was boring and like got like brain
Mhm.
melted by ADHD meds for like a normal
Mhm.
kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
So
mean, I think there's definitely stuff to say about our attention span to
well,
begin with.
okay. Maybe normal kid
I'm
was a
not
little
gonna
bit too
say that
much,
we
but
don't have ADHD, but I don't think that putting you on medication as a like a an elementary schooler was a good idea.
oh no, in
Um,
elementary school I was like literally just perfect, and that was so stupid
yeah.
and
No,
dumb.
I was because there's a couple of things that I specifically have to
Mhm.
say because I was like, despite constantly wanting to grow up, I was such a fucking kid
Mhm.
when I was a kid.
You were a kid when you were a kid. I'm sure
Particularly
you were.
particularly two things. I remember once in Sequest we had this thing where like we took a bunch of basically glorified Quotev quizzes and it said this would be a good job for you when you grow
I
up.
kind of
This
remember
is
doing
like
that actually.
and I remember getting like a coal miner because I selected all the answers that sounded like Minecraft. And I remember going home to my parents and being like, Mom, Dad, I'm gonna become a miner when I grow up. I'm gonna mine in caves and I'm gonna dig for coal and it's gonna be like Minecraft. And I had like I was so childishly naive about like, labor standards and work injuries and like having your legs blown up by, bombs
Mhm.
and well, whatever they use to mine with. I actually don't know how they do it. But I know that it is definitely not like
That is not
Minecraft's
a
making caves
desirable
and cliffs and things.
occupation.
That is objectively not a desirable occupation to
Yeah.
be trying to aspire to when you were
That's like
younger.
bottom tier.
Yeah.
But
But the
yeah.
second thing is that, like, ultimately, a lot of Sequest was kind of not bumming around, but like I was there because I had a high reading level, which is ironic because my reading comprehension nowadays sucks.
Oh
I cannot
yeah.
like,
Yeah,
understand
that's
basic
true.
stories.
That's true actually, yeah.
Um,
I
and
I, I agree a little slightly. I agree
I
slightly.
and I was definitely like a smart kid. Um, like at least like if they had done an IQ test, I
Yeah.
would have scored probably abnormally high because the thing about IQ is that it's like scored respective to your age.
Oh
That's
yeah.
I do not think I
See
have the same
see like
IQ
me
that I
and
had when I
Dom are
was
just
younger.
like competent now, but like when me
Sort
and Dom
of
like when me and Dom were children, we were like
unnaturally, probably.
yeah, the
Um,
relativistic thing for children as like in hindsight, I was probably, you know, in a kid, I didn't need to be
mhm,
calmed in my arrogance because I probably was relatively way ahead of a lot of the curves when I was that young.
right.
Yeah.
But one of the things is we had this project. We had to do a book report
Hmm.
on a book called The Prophet of Youngwood. I did not enjoy this book. I enjoyed the other books in the series that I cram read because they were supposed to have been read in fourth grade and I wasn't picked from the hat. But we had to do this book report on the Prophet of Yamwood, and I was like, oh, the City of Embers and whatever the second book was called was so much better, but fine, I'll do a book report on the Prophet of Yamwood. What am I supposed to do?
Hmm.
And there was this paper with a long list of options
Hmm.
of like, here's what you could do for your book report. And the final one was like, oh, well, if you have an idea that like wasn't on the list, like just come speak to the teachers about it and like we'll probably let you do it.
Hmm.
I was like, okay, I want to make a video game. This is my origin story.
Oh my gosh.
Literally, I went to the teachers and I'm like, I want to make a video game. And in my mind, I'm like picturing Lego Star Wars with the characters from the Prophet of Yamwood. And I'm like, and you're going to teach me how to do this. And like, we don't know how to teach. We don't like, we do Lego Mindstorms. And like, I was really good at Lego Mindstorms because I was a Lego kid.
Hmm.
And I uh I went she's like the teacher she says okay try this and she gives me Scratch. And for those of you who don't know, Scratch is like
I
an
remember
a
Scratch.
drag and drop based programming language
Intended
aimed
for
at
first time like kids to learn how to
yeah
program, but
it's aimed at kids.
it despite the fact that it's designed towards learning, it is a programming language, meaning that you
Yeah,
can build anything with it. It's just
the
it's just
smartest programmers will know how to make something in Scratch. This is
you
wise
I've
words that I
seen.
have been
Did
taught.
you know that OS runs on Scratch? There's a Scratch
That's
OSU
nuts.
Scratch client.
I'm not
That's
surprised.
yeah, it's
But
funny.
anyways,
Hmm.
so she just like kind of said, "Here's the website for Scratch. have fun. Just okay, sure.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a game developer now. And I
Mhm.
took Scratch home and I like did what every good programmer does. I copy and pasted other people's code
Mhm.
and kind of like reverse engineered it once it was in my own project and essentially taught myself programming. And this was like this is my origin story. This is how I got into game development, and
Yeah.
it's been game development ever since.
Honestly, you have some. I guess you have Scratch to thank a little bit.
Yeah, I have Scratch to thank, and the fact that my mother complained that I wasn't picked out of the hat in 4th grade, that
Yeah.
I should have been picked out of
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
hat.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if that did not happen, I'd be
You'd be a coal miner,
I'd be a coal miner. I'd be mining
and
coal.
you'd have died in the
Mm.
mines already.
I'd have died, and I'd be horribly disillusioned that being a coal miner in real life is not like Minecraft.
Well, unfortunately, as wonderful as this conversation is, and I could go on and on about all the times that I like my arc of going from tiny little peanut who like thought if he got good enough grades the world would conform to him to like a rebellious angsty teen who would point out when their teachers were wrong and started to think that they were too smart for school. We got to stop the episode. It's too long.
Yes.
Thank you for watching this much JaDS. I hope you had a good time. I hope you tune into the next episode. Dom, do you have anything to add?
I wrote the word "the" on my whiteboard, indicating
It was
that
about
I was
Bohemian
going to talk about
Rhapsody.
something. Oh,
See, I
thank
got it.
you.
I got
Because
it. Yeah.
I forgot, and it was supposed to be a reminder for me, and I just am very obsessed with the word "the" lately.
Mhm.
You want to save it for next week episode because hive mind culture is an entire conversation.
That is right, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned in next time for my crazy gambits, the conversation about hive mind singing, and
I am going to be a menace to the world with the piano.
and
I don't play the
and
piano.
more on next week's
Yeah.
episode of JaDS. Be sure to like and subscribe, please.
Yes.
Like
the button.
this
ring
can
the
be
bell.
your subscription and like on this video literally proportionately means like a million bajillion times more of a difference algorithmically than on any other YouTube video you watch because of
This is
how
actually true.
you are all so important. Okay.
Yes. We
Please
are
like and
tiny.
subscribe.
Like the
Leave a
button.
comment. I will like go out of my way to respond or like it because I
And then
care
go-
about it that much.
Go watch our live stream starting
Right now.
when you are watching this in the future.
Yep. All right.
Which is not the present for you watching, but the future for those who are watching this live. When this gets released on Monday, which it will be released on Monday, there will be no delays. We are going to be live streaming at the exact moment in time that you would have finished watching this episode had you watched it within 10 minutes of being uploaded.
Goodbye.
This will be a very precise number. Yes, goodbye.
Goodbye.
I still can't believe that happened. I had that game.